I want to help you run longer. For longer distances, more mileage per week, which is ultimately going to make you a better runner. So let's talk about building your aerobic capacity, building your endurance. This, for any distance runner, is their secret sauce. This is what is going to help them run faster times. Because if we're honest about it, the limiting factor for most runners is their endurance. A lot of us can run really fast, but maybe only for 5 seconds, or 30 seconds, or a minute or two. The key is the ability to extend that speed. That's endurance. So in this video, I want to talk about 3 different ways that we can build endurance in the order of least risky to most risky. Because truthfully, running is an injury-prone sport. You are likely to get injured every single year that you participate in the sport of running. That's because running is an impact sport. It's you and the ground. Every stride that you take sends impact forces up through your body. So to get stronger, to build that ability to run more, we have to mitigate those impact forces. So let's talk about our least risky way of building endurance, and that is simply by running higher mileage. Now the key here is that we are not going to be running more mileage at any kind of faster speed. In fact, most of our mileage increases are going to be at a very easy effort. In fact, if you're using zones, we're talking about zone 1 or zone 2. Very easy, either at a recovery pace or at an easy effort that feels comfortable, controlled, and conversational. Those are my 3 C's of easy running. So if you're not sure if you're running at an easy effort, just remember, do I feel comfortable? Do I feel in a controlled state? And would I be able to carry on a conversation with someone if they were running next to me? Because what easy running does is it builds your foundation. It improves a lot of structural things within your body. Things like additional mitochondria development in your muscle cells. Those are the energy factories of your cells that allow you to process oxygen and to improve the aerobic metabolism of your cells. That is what endurance is, aerobic metabolism. And so to be better at it, we must improve that structural capacity. And nothing improves that structural capacity like a lot of very easy running. Okay, once you're doing a lot of easy running, let's look at something a little bit more specific. Let's look at the long run, because the long run is one of those runs where you are forced to run longer than what is really comfortable for you. And once you start going beyond that threshold, a lot of special things start happening in the body. You become a lot more economical, because when you're tired, your body is forced to try to conserve energy. So by running longer every week, or really every other week is what you should do, then we can really force your body to make more of those structural adaptations and make yourself better with running economy and also fuel management. One of the things that really stops us from gaining a lot of endurance is simply our inability to fuel those really long runs. If any of you have run a marathon, you know that roughly mile 20 or so is when your body simply runs out of fuel. That's why we carb load before the marathon. That's why we fuel adequately during the marathon, to carry us those extra 6 miles to the finish line. And long runs are one of those workouts that really work incredibly well at improving your body's ability to manage their carb stores so that you can run longer at the same effort. If you're not already, let's try to run a long run every week. Maybe every 4 to 6 weeks you can take a cutback long run where the distance gets a lot shorter. But when we know that the long run is the one workout that contributes most to our endurance and ability to run longer, we won't shortchange ourselves by cutting that run too frequently. All right, now that you have started running a lot more easy mileage, you have really focused on the long run and building that every week or every other week, what's the next step? The next step is to focus on certain workouts or faster running sessions that develop that aerobic metabolism. Now, let's take a time out here. You've noticed that we're being very strategic, very methodical with how we are building our mileage. We started with the least risky option, just a lot of easy running. This can be very slow. This is at your recovery pace or maybe a little bit faster. But again, it's not too difficult. Then we started getting into your long run. Now your long run is done at an easy pace too, but because it's a single run, it's your longest run of the week, there is a higher injury risk than if you were to spread that mileage out throughout the week. Now we're going to move into a more specific type of workout. And whenever you start running faster, you're increasing the intensity of your training. That has the highest risk for injury. So this is our most risky type of strategy for building endurance. And so this workout is the lactate threshold workout. This is arguably the most beneficial type of workout for runners who are training for the 2-mile all the way up to the 50-mile ultra. It is the lactate threshold or tempo run. A lot of runners will know this as the tempo run. And this workout is specifically designed to increase your ability to run faster while still being in an aerobic state. Because what happens when you go anaerobic? Well, you're running so fast that your body is producing lactate, which leads to lactic acid. Once you have all that coursing through your muscles and your bloodstream, you have to slow down. But what lactate threshold workouts do is have you work right in that tiny threshold of being anaerobic or aerobic. Aerobic. Yes. You're going to straddle that line. And so what it does is it introduces a lot of lactate into your system, but not so much that you can't clear it. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about lactate clearance. We are teaching your muscles and your bloodstream and your body to clear all those exercise byproducts while you're running hard so that you can continue running aerobically. Now, the easy running, the long runs, that builds the foundation. Now we're sharpening the knife a little bit. We're using lactate threshold and tempo runs to give you a much more specific stimulus for endurance. This is where it's going to help your racing performance a bit more. And by running at this lactate threshold effort, where you are straddling that line between aerobic and anaerobic, you are teaching your body to run a little bit faster while still being in an aerobic state. It's one of the most valuable things that distance runners can do. Now, all of these strategies are dependent upon you running consistently, because you can't run more and more easy mileage if you're not running consistently. You can't build your long run if you don't consistently do long runs. And the same with these tempo or lactate threshold workouts. You can't just get off the couch and go from couch to tempo workout. We have to do this in a more methodical way. And a big part of maintaining this consistency and being able to train uninterrupted for months is staying healthy, preventing your next injury. And there's a lot of injury risk with the sport of running. And so I want to encourage all of you to do your strength training in addition to all of these aerobic workouts, in addition to all of this volume that you're building, the distance of your long run. And if you want to hear from 9 pro runners, I interviewed a bunch of elite athletes on their favorite recovery and injury prevention strategies. I put together a short ebook that has their 9 favorite tips on recovery and injury prevention. I call it the Little Black Book of Prevention and Recovery. You can get it at the link under this video on YouTube. And it highlights advice from people like Dathan Ritzenhein, Ian Sharman, Amelia Boone, and a lot of other high-level runners. And so if you're someone who struggles with consistency, you can't build that endurance because you're always taking time off from running because of injury, this is going to be really valuable for you, because these are the runners who are running the most. They are doing the hardest workouts. They are running more than 100 miles a week, and their strategies for staying healthy are really critical, especially at those higher levels. So if you can take that in and really work some of these tips and strategies into your own running, then I think you're really going to benefit from it, and you'll become more consistent, which is really going to help you build a lot more endurance.